Right, so here we are. We're at Traffic and Conversion 2021. This is me, Steve Sims, with my boy and my partner of Sims Media, Henry Sims. Henry, welcome to the bus.
Thank you. This is incredibly awesome, actually. It's my dream car converted into a studio.
Who would have thought they would have had a bus here as a podcast bus? That's pretty cool, pretty creative.
Yeah.
So, me and you, we've never been to one of these before. No. You know, the pair of us, through me speaking, you actually doing them, different events we've been to. We've been to a ton of entrepreneurial events. This is the first one that's been specific to the whole web world, you know, the as it's called, traffic and conversion. What has surprised you about what you thought you knew that maybe you realized, maybe you got it wrong?
Oh, man. How much the internet is changing and how quickly. Like we've talked about how quickly everything changes, but I don't think I actually had a full grasp just to the extent. Like it really is way more intense than I thought it actually was changing at, and especially with the new things coming, new iOS, new cookie policies, all these things. It's just ridiculous how massive of a change to the entire internet there really is going to be.
But that's a good thing.
Yes.
You know, one of the things from us as generational, from my side of the fence, marketing was making phone calls, was doing faxes. You know, I was pre-website, I was pre-Yahoo, pre-Google. So for me, it was a lot of direct mail, messaging, that kind of stuff. When Facebook and all those elements came across, it almost gave people that weren't skilled the chance to actually boost adverts. And it was the constant kind of like, oh, I tried that and it failed. No, you tried doing something badly and you spent money on that education. So now we're actually going back to where you've got to put a bit more thought behind how you deliver your message. So for everyone out there that's like shitting themselves, like cookies are going, iOS it's not allowing me to track. One door's closing while 15 others are opening. And that's what they're exposing here. So What's one of the platforms that you've been hearing a lot about in this market?
TikTok is probably the most talked about at the moment because, as we actually just heard this morning, TikTok surpassed YouTube on total watch time.
And what was that watch time? Did you remember? Did you get the number?
I can't. But just the fact that
82 minutes. The average person spends 82 minutes on TikTok. That's nuts.
When you think that at the most videos 3 minutes,
yes,
and even most of them aren't that. That's a lot of videos that people are going through.
And I think that was what, do you know, when I heard that figure, I thought to myself straight away, they don't do long form content. So you can go to YouTube and you can watch a movie that's been uploaded. You can watch, I know I've got some of my stage things up there that are over an hour long, but with the average TikTok being anywhere from 10 seconds to a minute, to actually have spent 82 minutes per day consuming that, that's a lot of multiples. So that was actually quite impressive for me. But why aren't people still paying attention to TikTok?
It's because we've all gotten lazy, and all this third-party data we had so much access to, and these tools that were so high performing for so long. Like if we use Facebook ads as an example, people that really aren't marketers, but just got really good at a specific tactic, just got lazy and dependent on those things. And so now, even though everyone's saying change, diversify, get on these other channels, no one's really paying attention to how quickly these other methods are just dropping and how effective these other ones are. So TikTok, people are still resistant to get on it because I think, for one, they saw how it started as just like basically a platform that young kids would go and dance on. But then at the same time, because they're hesitant to leave their old ways that they really only know of. So it's this new kind of, I have to drop what I've been doing forever and move, and they're uncomfortable doing that. but you have no choice but to do that now because it is all changing so drastically.
I think people psychologically, we don't like change.
No.
You know, we don't like it when a new character comes on a show. We don't like it when our car gets a facelift. We don't like it when something happens, a new kettle turns up or a toaster and we've got to learn how to use the bloody thing. We don't actually like change. As much as we think we do, we don't. And I think the biggest word, and you actually just said it without realizing it, dependency. You marry dependency with laziness and you become stagnant.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we need to realize is that nothing was the same that it is today. I was going to say 2 years ago, but 12 months ago. Bear in mind, 12 months ago, TikTok was still trying to compete against Instagram, trying to compete against YouTube, that it now beats, and you've got Instagram trying to follow TikTok.
Yep.
So you've got those kind of things, and we're getting dependent on how we get data from Facebook, cookies, tracking. And of course now, all of that's going away. Marry that to laziness, and we're going to die on that.
Yeah.
So I think the first lesson that I got from here is always be willing to change, edit, and adapt. Okay?
Yeah.
Change is a constant. It's a growth. Sometimes it can be painful, but it's a growth. But death is staying still. TikTok did really, really well, but also I've been noticing a lot about repurposing over platforms.
Yeah.
That scares a lot of people because they see people like Gary Vee running out like 400 bloody pieces of content a day, and it terrifies them to even try. How can they actually compete against people like that, and should they try to compete?
Well, you have to realize that they've got a massive team behind them, and so it's going to be very difficult to compete against that, but you don't have to try and compete against that. They're going incredibly mass market, and there's so many businesses that have just done incredibly well of establishing their authority within one particular area, that small audience is just so engaged, so ready to buy, and their retention is fantastic. So the lifetime value of all those people in your audience is amazing. So you don't have to worry about cranking out ridiculous amounts of content and trying to reach the entire world. You have to be more and more defined on who you're trying to reach and who that value you're giving is for. Because especially now when we don't have as much ability to target people, we have to make sure that we're doing that in our messaging. So our copy and our videos, what we're saying, we have to know who it's for. Because that way, when you're going broad on your targeting or you're putting out content and just anyone in the world can see it, you're going to be deterring those people who it's not for, but talking directly to those people who you are a good match to work with. So we really need to just look at not so much how much bulk content can I put out there, it's what kind of valuable content can I put out there? What's the right content to put out there? And it's not like you said about saying about how difficult or how people get scared of going omni-channel with their content. It really doesn't have to be difficult. You can make a single long form piece of content that you put up on YouTube and then take clips from it of all the individual little nuggets and put it across social media in formats that it works across everywhere. A square video and a vertical video, it's pretty much two formats. They just do a quick edit change and it can go everywhere for video.
So the two things that I'm hearing as well here and that you've just brought up is one of them, kind of forget the vanity metrics.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's out there going, I need 1 million hits, I need 2 million things. If those million people each gave you $100, hey, you'd be buying an island. But the fact is that those people that have got, 1 million followers, only maybe 500 of those can afford them.
Uh-huh.
We had a conversation yesterday with Kasim,
Yep.
who runs the #1 Google agency out there. And he is just a genius. Big shout out to Kasim.
Oh, yeah.
He's a friend of the Sims family. We love the guy. So, Kasim, love you, boy. But But he openly said he throws content up every single day on his YouTube, which is valuable content, and he's got 4,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So you don't need a lot of people following you. You need the right people following you, and that's where your tone, what you stand for, your brand, your identity needs to be niched down to those people that want to hear it. You know, you could easily do a video and have some chick on a skateboard with her top off. Hey, you'll get 1 million views, but you ain't getting 1 million customers.
Yeah.
So that's I think where people's getting wrong. They don't know how to use the internet, and they think one breeds the other. And in fact, quite the opposite. It repels. If you're not being, if there's no continuity within your message and your brand, and you're confusing people. Well, is he pro this, or is he against that, or is he inappropriate here, or is he political? You start confusing your clients, they're not going to follow you.
No.
So how do we focus on making sure that we niche down?
So focusing on niching down in terms of how do you define your audience, or how do you make sure you're putting the right stuff out there for them?
So which one comes first? Which one do you look? And we're in a party bus, and we're just like chilling, and we've just had lunch, and there may or may not have been alcohol involved in that lunch. So let's leave it as open as that. And I'm throwing questions at you. You just said the content or the niching down to know who your customer is.
Yeah.
Which one's more important, or which one should we say is the chicken and egg? Which one comes first?
Well, so you need to define your audience first.
Okay, how do you define your audience?
I guess you have to put yourself in the big overview of what skill sets do you have that could benefit for someone, and at the same time, who do you like working with? Because if you like working with someone, you know the type of people you work well with, it's a lot easier to serve them. And it's also going to last longer for the both of you because there's not this bad energy in between the two. So just looking at the skills you've got and how it can help someone, but also just looking at who you like working with is my two kind of first things that I would ever pay attention to on defining my audience.
There's enough people in the planet for you to be able to work with who you like.
Yeah.
You haven't got to put up with dicks. So no, that's absolutely fine there. One of the answers you've been saying, which I really like, which is I think from my sense of media, where I think people go wrong, is that they try to put content, and we're talking about social now. We're talking about the TikToks, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, and whatever's going to appear next week.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about that. The issue I see is most people put out content that serves them. You know, makes me look good. Hey, gets me a lot of photos. Wow, doesn't my ass look good in this video? It's all about them and the metrics. Rather than focusing on, hey, who's my message helping? Your answer focused directly on what does your skill set do to help the recipient, the viewer, the one consuming. I think if you do content going, okay, how does it help them? You'll actually change the way you work.
Yeah.
And I think I would say that's probably one of the biggest mistakes I've seen. Too many people care about what their hair looks like and it all looking good, as though they're doing some kind of model shoot. When really we just need to be focusing on the solution, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's not, people are selfish, and that's not a bad thing. So when you just admit to that, you can then start coming at your things as, okay, I need to focus on making sure they get something out of my content. They get something out of following me and making that front and center. So like we've joked about the very cookie cutter, overused LinkedIn profile bio of I'm an entrepreneur, author, speaker, coach. And you just go, okay, well, that's very vague. What's in it for me? Like there's no immediate what's in it for me. So just from the second someone's on your profile page, there needs to be an immediate, like in your profile, I help these people do this. So that when those people stumble across your profile, they're like, okay, this is for me. And then they can start building the trust and actual judgment of your character through the content. So you have to be at that, coming from that angle of what value can I give? That's how we build trust with our clients and our audience, is value, giving them value, and then they will reinvest their time in us.
Aren't people scared? And I hear this all the time with when I first start working with a client coaching. People are terrified about giving too much away. It's a case of, well, you do this, but if you want to learn more, maybe you should buy my course. People are scared of giving it away, thinking that it devalues them.
Yeah.
That's back to front, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why?
So,
and you've done this. We've been at speakeasies where you've actually stood up there and told people the steps on how to do a social audit on themselves.
Yeah.
And you've actually given the sheets to these people and told them what they've got to do. And then what's been the follow-up on that?
Months later, them calling and going, I need help, I didn't do it.
Yeah, and then what do they end up doing?
Paying us to do it.
Bingo. So the point is, giving value, giving instructions, giving help, that demonstrates you as an authority, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And being an authority, I've never known anything as a weak authority. So today, more than anything, more than content, more than viewers, more than anything in the planet, what I feel everyone needs today or should go for is credibility. Mm-hmm. And by demonstrating that credibility by actually helping other people, then they go, well, okay, then he's given me this. I could do it myself. He's just told me how to split the atom, but I don't want to. So I don't think it's a bad thing. So we saw someone this morning, Rachel, was it Peterson? Or
Yep. Yeah, Rachel Peterson.
And great conversation on TikTok.
Yeah.
She really did bail it down. And she actually said about giving with an open hand. And I really liked that metaphor and the look. And how that made me feel. That, I'm not trying to grab anything. Here it is. Take it.
Yeah.
You're actually demonstrating confidence and strength and credibility by doing so.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's it going to take for people, and we're in this industry, and there's even stuff that we're here going, oh, shit, we should have done that 4 months ago, that we're not doing. What's it going to take for people to wake up to go, hey, this isn't a choice of whether or not I get in the game. You're in the game, and your competitors are in the game.
Yeah.
What's it going to take for people to wake up to realize, hey, stop pissing around, you need to play?
Unfortunately, for most people, it's going to take the absolute drastic change and fall of whatever they're doing to make that change. But for those that actually take action and are more aware of what they're not good at and would rather invest in the people who are good to save them time, continue going at what they are good at, that's really the only two options I see. Is you've got the people who are lazy and won't change until they're forced to, or you've got those entrepreneurs who are really proactive, realize things are changing, maybe I don't know what I'm doing, but I can pass it off to those that I do know.
Is it too late to be focusing on your digital brand?
No.
No?
Have
we not missed the window of getting involved in TikTok and stuff?
The longer you wait, the worse your chances are. Like, starting today, you start building up history online. And that's what a lot of people like. If you go to a blog, if you go to a podcast, if you go to a social media page, being able to binge content can create a connection so quickly with your clients that that conversion window has just shrunk. So the longer you wait to start building up that history that people can binge and research and get a feel for who you are, the longer you're putting off the potential to make that connection with your clients. Digital, as they were saying here at TNC, digital's not the everything. It's now a normal, and we have to know how to do it. but we also need to know how to go outside the box with it. But we need to be on digital. That's a new normal. So if we're not even on the normal, then you're going to have a really hard time of being found.
I'm going to argue with a little piece of the statement you made there.
Sure.
You said you have to be doing it. You know, it's the new normal. You don't have to know what you're doing.
No.
And here's the definement to that statement. Because everything's so new, like there's no 10-year experts on TikTok.
No.
TikTok wasn't around 10 years ago. So, you know, you may get a law firm that's got over 100 years experience. Anyone that's a professional on TikTok is 2 years old.
Yeah.
You know, so the point is, classic Ari Meisel, big shout out to my boy Ari, get going, then get good, you know? Yeah. Because one of the things I liked today, and it was actually Rachel said it again, she said, how skeptical are you that this could work for you? How skeptical are you to try this? And a lot of people put their hands up. And she said, well, guess what? Your competitors are just as skeptical, but it only takes one of them to try to become the leader, you know? One-eyed man is the king in a world of blind, you know? It's that kind of, you got to try to get ahead. That's what we got to be doing. So I think people need to stop trying to make it perfect.
Yeah.
You know, Rachel openly said today that she's far from perfect, you know? I openly say your imperfections are your perfection.
Yeah.
Don't overthink, overdo.
Yeah.
Guaranteed, the first time you do a TikTok video, the first time you do a YouTube video, it's going to be shit.
Yeah.
Compared to what it'll be 6 months down the line.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So I think people need to jump in. What platform, this is a loaded trick question, what platform today should they focus on? Oh, he's deep in thought here.
Because it's like that whole business phrase of it depends, you know?
Yeah.
But I think two things in terms of if we're just talking social media.
Yeah, let's just focus on, we're in traffic and conversion, so let's keep it to the digital space.
Yeah, so if we're just looking at platforms on social media, the two things I'll say is organic is very tough. And so if you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, all these kind of things, those are very difficult to grow organically and get reach on. And that's that's the first stage of any business is awareness. So looking at those platforms, you need to realize you need to pay to play. Putting some little bit of money behind things just to get the eyeballs, you need to do that. But then also, TikTok and LinkedIn are both brilliant organically. TikTok has no kind of like filter and suppression on someone's content. It just constantly is throwing out new people's stuff, and they prioritize that in their For You page. You're always seeing new stuff. So you have a great opportunity any day, anytime to reach tons and tons of people and use that to filter into your other channels. And then LinkedIn also has great organic growth. So I would say if you're looking at purely organic, you can do very well with that on TikTok and LinkedIn. But at the same time, on these other platforms, you need to look at pay to play as well.
One of the things that I like about TikTok, and I say I like about TikTok, but to be completely blunt, I'm not doing as much of it as I should. So I'm openly saying that. So expect to see me doing a lot more on TikTok, just not dancing.
Yeah.
TikTok,
Please.
Yeah. TikTok is and I'm hesitant to make the statement, but from my knowledge, it's the only platform that you can share across non-owned platforms, which means Instagram can connect to Facebook because Facebook owns Instagram, but Instagram can't connect to LinkedIn. But if you do a TikTok, you can actually link your LinkedIn, your Instagram pages to it. So by just pushing share, it will actually share your TikTok video across all other platforms that are not proprietary to its own.
It's great. It's brilliant because they say about how they're sharing it to all these other platforms, but it's also like free advertising for them, because the second you share it to these other platforms, it's got their watermarks on the videos and stuff. So they're just getting free advertising by you sharing it to all these other platforms. So they really did a good move there compared to the others.
They did, but if you're sitting there going, I don't have all day to plaster this across 10 platforms, then plaster it on one and push share.
Yeah.
The bottom line of it is, this shit ain't hard. But all the time you avoid doing it, you're going backwards.
Yeah.
So no, we need to be stepping up. All right, as we wrap up, what are you hoping to get out of this event? And again, for any of those listening out there, this is Traffic and Conversion. We're in a weird-ass podcast bus. There's some converted old VW, camper van.
Yeah.
Like a pair of hippies in here. And we're just chatting about this event. So this is 2021.
Yeah.
And I'm very keen to put that date stamp on there. What are you thinking is going to happen that's going to get you aggravated enough to take action over the next 2 days? And where do you think the world of digital is going to go in the next 12 months?
I feel like the world of digital we're going much more to old school methods. Just because if all the doom and gloom that's being projected of any form of data tracking being absolutely gone, any kind of retargeting absolutely gone, like if all of that just disappears, then we really have to reevaluate entire marketing strategies and even look at possible offline methods and really go omni-channel with it. And so that's what I'm excited for, because I know it's going to clear out a lot of the lazy people, but I think it's just seeing and preparing for the absolute worst of, if I don't have any data whatsoever, what will I actually do?
So making sure that you collect your data, which includes phone numbers, emails, addresses, really, and you've got to be responsible of it, because here's a dumb thing. If you've got a Facebook page and it's got 1 million followers on it, you've got the names, the profiles, even the emails from scraping, the locations of school. But if your Facebook page gets turned off or it gets hacked, and you lose it, you don't have that data. So I think the definition is you need first source data. You need to have it on your systems that you own.
Yep.
That's why I'm a fan of texting, I have to admit.
It does seem like texting is so far one of the most stable routes of first-party data collection.
Yeah,
because even Apple is looking at hiding your emails to other people. So if not only are we possibly not going to have click-through rates and open rates, we're possibly not even going to be able to see their email on our marketing. So if you think in that manner, so far it looks like texting might be the safest route, as of what we're hearing so far at this event.
As of today, good.
So who knows what's actually going to happen?
2 weeks' time, texting suddenly gets blown out of the water and no one does SMS anymore. And I think that's the key. This is moving.
Yeah.
We're trying to float on a choppy sea, and we don't know when the next tide's coming.
No.
So I think you've got the old classic, get comfortable with being uncomfortable and tweak, edit, and grow.
And it's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter who's at the top right now. If they don't keep up with it, they disappear quick. So if you are, like they were saying with TikTok and all that, if you're an early adopter, if you're actually moving towards these changes, you can dramatically change everything that you're doing and really improve your business and your reach. It's just, this change, I absolutely love it. For those of us who like the change and are willing, or maybe, as you said, not like it, but are willing to move with it and proactive on it, it will blast you to the top, and those that don't are going to fall down.
And as usual, if you don't know what you're doing, hire someone that does.
Yeah.
Outsource your pain. So, no, that's brilliant. All right, Henry, this is brilliant. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed this. If you need more stuff, more details on us, you can head over to sims.media. We're lurking over there, and we could be maybe your solution. But regardless to anything, try it. Start it. Play with it. Again, we've already told you you're going to be shit. So, we're not looking for perfection. But you aren't doing yourself any justice by doing nothing. All right, this is me, you, Henry, Steve. We're out. See you later.